We've taken the Winstrike rocket, and we're now moving on to Erangel here for our next 2 games. Let's see if they live up to their promise of getting themselves 4 wins throughout today. It's going to be a little bit difficult.
Did he say 4 wins today, or did he say 4 wins for the week?
Dave, what did he say? Today.
He said 4 wins today.
Okay, well, we only we haven't even had a team winning 3 games on 1 day yet.
No,
yeah,
so
that's true.
So
that would be a new record first.
They've set a good precedent for it, though.
We hope FaZe was going to do it after their fantastic 2 games on Miramar.
For the FaZe Friday.
But then they got a 12th and a 13th, I believe, the rest on Erangel. So let's hope that the first team that's going to do this is Winstrike, because if they do that, they're going to be beating their own worst 2 weeks.
Yes.
So far, so that'll be exciting to see. And also, they're in the middle pack. They're looking pretty close. And when we take a look at the scoreboard, we're going to be seeing that. Let's take a look, guys.
Yeah, definitely. First place.
12 points. It's 12 points behind only Natus and Pyjamas now.
500 points, though, has been broken by Na'Vi up towards the top.
That's more than double from 15th and 16th place.
That is correct.
Yikes.
So well done by Na'Vi so far, and they are now 100 and some points clear of being knocked out of the top 5, which is
so grats to
insane.
Na'Vi on going to GLL
And
Grand
grats for
Slam.
winning it as well, you know. The
Grats
CIS.
to winning it, I guess, as well.
Wow,
Yeah.
you guys were calling this way too early.
Yeah, that's fine, you know.
I think from a statistical standpoint, the CIS teams have won all 3.
It's called a strong guesstimation. There you go.
It's a guesstimation. Yeah, let's put it that way.
All right. Winstrike with
Ratios as
345.
Ratios as well. 11 points from TSM. And 11 points from the to ratio. It's really close in our mid pack here. But Winstrike all of a sudden jumps in, joining the mid pack kind of hunt onto Border Patrol TSM. Digital Athletics, Pittsburgh Knights, not the best of games, obviously. They managed to get some points to Digital Athletics, but they're still falling far behind now.
I don't know if you guys have this to hand, but what has been our best day ever in relation to points earned during Phase 2? Do you know?
During Phase 2, I think
it's FaZe Clan.
FaZe with 133 points during a week.
No. One day.
Or 1 day.
The FaZe must have been the one with
that,
the 2
yeah,
wins.
that must have been FaZe.
Even though they only got a few kills in the 2 seconds.
Because I would love to see if there is an opportunity for Winstrike to try and attack it.
Didn't they have like 50-something points, 59?
So you're thinking something around that area?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Because they had like 50 points after 2 games, and then they got
We're
only 9
contemplating.
points in the last 2.
We're trying to figure it out, but anyway, regardless, G2 taking the 2 top spots now, moving a few names on down. Unfortunately, Mr. Fuzz Face.
I guess we can say congratulations to Brexco and Edgecris for making the World Cup team already for Germany, because this is absolutely insane.
That's a fair point.
I mean, they are super consistent as well.
Yeah.
It's not just this phase. Every phase and every tournament, we see them in the top there.
Doozy jumping ahead of Gustav.
That's the rules, right? You can only have 2 players.
That's the other rules from the other regions. So there's different rules. Some of the regions, they have that nobody from contenders. They can only be Pro League players.
Okay.
But for Europe and some of the players we have here, for example, if you have both the 2-man rule maximum per team plus you have the no contenders, then Digital Athletics, they will like who they're gonna take from Turkey. The same with Germany. If you can only have 2 players from G2, they're the only German players in this Pro League here. So they would have to take contender players to make the team.
Sure.
So there have to be some different rules across the different regions, obviously to
I think
accommodate the different teams.
overall,
and the different,
though, it's very exciting to see that the Nations Cup was announced. And of course, it will be taking place in Seoul, South Korea.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Denmark is not able to be in there. I will say Denmark was the most fracking nation in the first kind of Nations Cup we had,
Dane.
2017.
Were you part of that?
Yeah, I was actually part of
that. Oh, no.
Well, I mean, think about Germany. I was thinking about one player. He's not here, though. He's in OCE. Linksy.
Yeah, but he's not a German player, is he, though?
He got German citizenship.
I think you have to play in the region. You have to play in the region either.
Well, we don't know yet because we don't know the rulings.
Yeah, stick to your rules.
We'll see.
We don't have any rules yet.
And also, Linksy doesn't speak German, and if you're playing in a nation's team, you probably should be able to speak the nation's language.
Yeah, because
I mean, he probably knows how to say.
Let's put it this
good
way.
Morning.
So far, yeah. Good morning.
Guten Abend.
I would say with United Kingdom and Finland, they're looking pretty strong. They're pretty strong representatives coming out of Europe.
Yeah,
they have a lot of players in the Pro League. I would say those are looking pretty scary.
I think Canada is probably one of the most scariest teams.
Who would you put from Canada?
Probably like K-Mine, Grasso, Miluk, and Who else was I thinking?
Moody?
Moody?
Yeah, I don't think Moody and Maluk will work well together, though.
They could.
What's your reasons?
Well, they have history. Let's just put it like that.
I just wanted to debate.
But I mean, they could work together for something like this.
You think so? Yeah, maybe.
They really aren't the
All right,
best friends.
boys. Let's get back on topic here for PEL for a moment. We're going into Erangel. What are your thoughts coming in?
This is going to be exciting. We have an opportunity here
Ooh.
for Winstrike to win 3 games on a day. They promised us 4, but I would be excited just to get 3. We will see. They
How have their average games been on Erangel?
Well, average is like 8.6 in placement, then 3.6 in kills.
So not phenomenal.
No.
Not phenomenal, but their
How many
Erangel games are better than their Miramar games.
And how many games have they won on Erangel?
They won 1 game on Erangel, and with these 2 wins, they got 3 wins on Miramar.
Okay. So potentially they could get 3 and 3 if they win the rest of the 2 as they promised us. But I'm excited no matter what. They could be having a record-breaking day.
Yeah.
I think the 50 points for the day from FaZe is the one we're looking for.
I think it is.
It's somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at it.
All right, guys. Well, the Kylaris brings you the most sensational PUBG combat. The green pastures of Erangel become the battlefield of destiny as the fortitude and perseverance of even the most stalwart professionals will be tested. It is time to get into game number 63 here for PEL Phase.
It sounded like we're in the Overwatch League or something. I don't think we have to fake hype here, do we have to, Richard?
How much coffee has James had? Please remove caffeine from Ginger Man. Sound like the racehorses.
It was a lot. Like,
What a
I'm just
bit
having
on.
a nice time, you know what I mean? Found out that Scoom said he thinks he could 1v1 me out of all the talent, which is a bit of a meme. Like, Scoom?
Does he not know you're the worst?
I've posted your stats publicly, Richard, and I know it hurt your feelings.
Hey.
So let's not play that game. Let's not play the game,
I
or I'll
play
do
with-
it all over
Look,
again.
I play with James.
I play with a lot worse players
I
than
have
that.
excuses.
Oh. James carries you. What's the issue?
I mean, there's one word for it. More like me carrying his... Anyway. We won't
No,
start
no,
there.
no, 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 no.
I'm not going to start. No, you know what? Me and him, we're actually the little ginger duo. We've got 1 win between us out of 945 games.
I'm very proud of you.
That's a good average.
You're really crushing it on the stats.
Yeah.
We should put something on the line, like maybe some money for charity, and we'll just 1v1 Scoom and see how many of us absolutely batter him. Because let's be honest, PEL's not been suiting him so great so far. So maybe you can finally win a game or 2. You know, I reckon some
really
charity
has
money.
turned you back to the old Lauren.
It has. I reckon some money for charity on the line. I'll give a bit of that.
I remember my first beer back on it.
I'll give it 200 euros.
Whoa.
I'll go 200 euros.
You just laid it down.
Oh,
1v1 for charity. Wow.
I'm ready. Let's go.
There you go, Scoom. PGI
Anyway.
winnings, put them where they are.
Circle has come in southeast. TSM, happy. FaZe, happy. G2, Knights. Vast majority of the teams, quite far out.
It's a good plan to start with. Again, you heard from Tixu, to be fair, that a lot of these teams, if not all of them, do prefer this map. It's the staple. It's the staple one. We all know it. We all love it. I tell you what, the refresh looks absolutely gorgeous as well. If you haven't tried it, it's a little bit unfortunate because it's no longer testable and trialable. I'm sure it'll be coming back to test servers. But it is, it's looking beautiful. It'll be given the anniversary treatment, if that's what you want to call it. The circle, it's not quite favorable for the simple fact that we have lost a lot of ground space here. We have Nova in, we have Military Island in. No one's going to go there. There is a very small chance the circle could pull that way, and if it does, it's going to be a mad one. But
Oh, that'd be hilarious, wouldn't it? It's so unlikely,
it'd
but...
be wild. I mean, it happened on Miramar. We went all the way down to the south last
Yeah,
week.
stop it, because I wanted to cast that game,
It was
and
scary.
of course it happens when I'm not there.
It was very, very,
That
very
really upset
scary.
me.
It was fun. It was. It's good with these wild circles. You start to see the intuition and the very smart players and the proactive players, I want to say, from teams where they'll put bodies in certain areas
Yeah.
that it's okay. We have a backup plan should this shift. I think some of these teams at the top, it's really reading the lay of the land, what gets them this. Okay, you've got fragging and everything else that goes with teamwork and all that stuff. But still, being able to put yourself in a position which is favorable for any kind of circle move and playing one step ahead of the game is really what makes a team from a top 5 to a bottom 4.
Yeah, I am getting a little sick of seeing very similar circles, though. I mean, in before we have an absolute littering from, Lumberyard, that entire band that runs around it, if it even goes close to centralizing on it. It's just, we are seeing a lot of the same circles. Obviously, benefits and negatives. One, teams get better at playing on a predictable pattern, right? There is method to the madness, but I also love the aspect of, the real randomness of PUBG. So, I don't know, it's a tough one. Very, very tough. Quick rotation from Liquid, not surprising. Vitality, not far off either. DA doing somewhat similar. Generally heading in the right place. So, looking to see who goes for what to start with. So we have Liquid going for maybe the complementary houses across the road that runs north from Milta. That might be their kind of straight hit, or at least it's a 2-2 split. Keep in mind the Gemty and Ibi are still by Pachinki, so they've gone for ground early. This is a huge priority target for them. The Knights consolidating around Prison. Vitality heading that way, but there's a lot of room around there. You can certainly find your place. DA, like one of the newer compounds that was added, they might be further back, further north than that right now. Shadow looks like he's at one of the newer ones. So I'm interested to see where people really instantly target to go for.
In my opinion, Vitality should, if they're going to look towards Prison, they're going to get a battle on it. Natus should be calling this out should he see vehicles or signs of life. And then they have the Shelter to fall back on. Shelter's good cover, it's a good amount of land leverage should you want to move somewhere. Liquid have moved into TSM and G2 territory. They have to be careful just at the top of the farms, but again, they will go for this 1-1 split, which gives them both compounds either side of the road and allows their team an entry point into this, no matter where you want to go. They just have to be careful being so solo like that and 2 individual players. Should TSM rock up at the door as a 3-4-man stack, whoever's up there is just going to get obliterated off the face of the planet. M19, expect them... I mean, they're probably wrong now, just for the sake of it, because that's usually what happens when I say something. But M19 like to go onto Sosnovka and rotate and play a late game and then come over the bridge. Yeah. With this kind of circle, it's going to be really hard and dense. And generally speaking, G2 have started to hang around bridge a little bit longer than what they used to do. And I expect those slow plays. Rec, still looting. Unity still looting. Maybe expect some kind of a late battle or an engagement that's on the way into the circle. We've seen Rec take a few battles on the outskirts because unfortunately they just struggle to find an entry point into things like this. To be fair,
for Reciprocity, in my eyes at least, it's not necessarily a bad play. They will know that a lot of the teams who go for early rotations, everyone's going to centralize. As I said, that band around Lumberyard that runs around it, it's going to be absolutely littered. No one's going to sit on the outskirts here. So they can take their time. They can come in on the late loot. It's not a bad idea because they know, you've seen this circle a lot recently, you know the lay of the land. For me, though, I've got to say as well, FaZe, I don't say early or quickly, but they've got themselves into a bit more of a tight-knit group here. We've seen time and time again them losing out on players here or there in these circles. They'll maybe lose out on one just by being complacent or not, remembering, oh, wait, no, there will be teams coming our way. It does seem as though they've kind of, I guess, pulled up the old bootstraps and really got themselves in a good position this time at least.
I think it's the one thing, I mean, it's hard for us to sit here and dictate bad things about teams, but if it's one little nitpick we can say is that FaZe failings now and again, or at least in the later stage of Phase 1 and the early stage of Phase 2, they would lose an odd player on transition. And they just have to fight the game as a 3. And don't get me wrong, they've been making it work because they've been playing some absolutely fantastic PUBG, more as of recent.
Nice little replay that.
So it's probably their only negative I want to say about it. They seem to have battened down the hatches on that one a little bit and got better at it, certainly. But for this one, they are backed up into a corner. You are completely and utterly right. There's no one going to go to Milta Power because it's on the coastline unless the circle will yonk that way. And if it does, FaZe are in a good position to go to it. But if they have to go inland, there's going to be so many teams in front of them.
My money to Shiv has paid off already. No, Scoom getting picked up there. Again, it may be just a scouting move because they saw NIP nearby. Gaxy's just driving around. M19 are heading up that way as well. They need to be careful here. This actually could be a bit of a loss. If NIP commit, that's a little bit of an issue, and it looks like Miraku's at least pulled up. Gaxy could have an angle on this too. I don't know how much. With the smoke up for now, they should be safe unless, just shot. Exactly. It's like there is always that chance, but little bit rough. Not ideal.
It's an aggressive stance, but it could have paid off.
Yeah, look, it could have been a pickup of a point.
Yeah.
Why not?
And then you push onto it, especially if you get the knock rather than the point. That's 2 players down. You just go for the full flush, the full send. Take control of that position. It's job done.
Slowed down NIP in the extent that M19 have leapfrogged a little further ahead, I guess you could say. But if you're coming in at this point, you're probably not expecting to get, prime cuts of anything. A couple of return shots.
Hit it.
Go on. Go on, Shiv.
Hit it.
Reals did, at least.
Yeah.
Iroh, this time actually gets confirmed. We already saw the DA was suffering a little bit on the way down. I think that was that Znark who hit it earlier? I think it was. I'm not 100% sure. Again, DA kind of being pinned into this. It's a very tough position to play from, especially when Knights have been, it looks like they've been very fluid. They were on the other side when they got the initial shot, so it seems that they're more than happy to keep this pressure up.
You could see Wanted was damaged and getting his health back, which says to me, unfortunately, that DA may have been a little bit tunnel-visioned on them further down in the houses and just didn't expect Reals to pull off such an overzealous maneuver to move that close and extend himself away from the rest of the team. Because if he goes down now, he's dead. It has to be worth its weight in gold. You have to be getting these frags, which he has done, so he's picked up a point. If you go down now, that's it. There's no res, so you have to be aware that you are putting your team in a bit of a predicament when you're doing a play like that, so it has to be a team agreement. Okay, I'm going to go do this, that's fine. Have to be aware, you're not going to be getting the res.
NIP are so happy to just get out and fight. They did it with Reciprocity. As soon as they see a team, they're more than happy to get out and pop a couple of shots. They're not afraid of it. Back in the car, back underway. Shouldn't be too much, harm, no foul, etc. Should be okay to get en route. You would say CrowCrowd are quite close by. They're all looking for spots. They're all looking for places to kind of find, a bit of footing here because they know all the main areas will be taken over. That north side, you've got maybe 1, 2, 3 teams still trying to way forward, and that doesn't include NIP who are currently in the circle.
That's the name of the game now. You have to play aggressive. You have to be prepared to take fights, pick up frags, pick up points. There's so much on the line, and I said to League last week, we do have this kind of trifecta of things going on. The top 5, they advance to the Grand Slam, they make it to a next major. The top 8 are paid out, and then below that, your bottom 4
that's not good.
are in relegation.
Oh, that was a bit of an Uber delivery right there, wasn't it? Just Uber Eats straight to the door. Sigsy didn't even have to really work for that. That was, again, it looked like NIP didn't know quite where they wanted to go in this. They were looking for that place when they first ran into CrowCrowd, but then they went a little too close towards Shelter and Raise Your Edge. Have been there a while.
I'd have to assume that Znark getting a kill from a barrel, that they've pushed up. You only get that kill if you're up close and personal. It's going to work from range, so it tells me in the back lines that they have made an advancement on this. All 4 players are just hounding down onto DA. There's 2 of them left, vehicles in tow. 1 grenade hits those cars, and unfortunately it's going to be boom, boom, bye. 2 players will be playing around the rock side, and you can see the shots coming in.
Vitality as well, getting shots towards the Knights.
Which is worrying for DA, because now they'll see these. It gives them a bit of respite, but not for long. It forces the Knights back. That's fine. Don't overextend. Keep yourself with a 4-man stack, boys, and just fall back. But for DA, they now have to be aware that there is death from above.
There is. And Reciprocity have found their way in on the western side, in between, well, not in between, but next to Winstrike, kind of on the runoff from Potato Hill if you're looking across that little kind of dirt path that leads towards the east. Team Liquid still in the 2-2, TSM just towards the north side of Milter in one of the kind of isolated houses, M19 finding their spot way further up in the north. The circle did move away from Novo. I mean, it would have been super unlikely to go there. It feels more likely Break's going to get a skin in PUBG, but it could have happened. You never know. It could have been one of those crazy games. Wasn't the case. So now this kind of gives teams a little bit more footing. You can now spread out a little bit more. You can use the map a bit because there's always that chance. But if you look at it, obviously it moves away from water eventually. So you do feel it's going to head up towards that lumberyard and up.
Circle 4 and 8 are the ones with the water multiplier. And again, we've kind of seen that number 8 only once, I believe, when we had a Watertown finish, and someone actually mentioned it on Twitter.
Yes, I remember.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, good point, actually, it does. It's the first time I've seen it yonk away from water in that level of Circle 8. Regardless.
It was cool. I love that. I love that
great
finish.
Right?
That made me happy.
Unfortunately, they didn't really do much coming out of the water because you are slow and sluggish and all the players inside the buildings. Speaking of buildings.
A bit of a crash into farm.
Yeah. We saw a good battle down here last week as the circle did come this way. Squeaky in the kill feed. He's on to Destination.
Ooh, that's
him.
fun. Here we go. This is what scares me, is that big open field towards the north of Milter and basically the run up to the forest south of Lumberyard. It's a lot of open ground. There's a lot of compounds in Milter, sure, but this is getting scary times. Reciprocity in a fight for farm, and farm's not actually in the circle. And Na'Vi have already their foot in the next one. They have Pokemolodoy, and I think that's going to be Bestalotch taking over the other side from TSM. I think, no, actually, tell a lie, TSM were never there. They were always over the other side.
Now, the one thing for me is if you're a pro player, you're looking towards Milter and thinking, okay, this is a big city, but there's going to be teams set up, ready, willing, and able to take a fight. So you actually might get a few teams completely avoiding this.
Yeah.
And then this is where we're going to get all these battles in the north. We got Liquid, we got Raise Your Edge, Vitality, TSM. They've set up a bit of a roadblock, to be honest. They're going to be on the hillside. They have the garage compounds. They're fantastic. You have the flat top. You can get lots of leverage, lots of viewership. and maybe just getting
D-Mash
involved in these fights.
Give us something to look at, D-Mash. We've got a couple of shots. Miraku is on the run. Get away if he can. He does get another shot towards him. He's still standing. But NIP have struggled to get into these circles. That's been the issue. They did finally get over towards Shelter, but by that point, circle shifts away, and now Liquid can see, and now M19 can see, and then Reciprocity can see. There's no rest for the Wicked here as DA again suffer casualties in this.
Yeah, we'll have player alive just laying down and hoping no one sees him. And that's going to be a 16th place finish for the Turkish, unfortunately. 14 minutes into the game, they're still having 59 alive. This circle is going to get pretty dense pretty fast. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9 teams all up in the northern
G2 and
region
Na'Vi
of
are
the
crashing
circle.
into Milta. This is going to be a big battle coming out here as well. That's TSM finding G2. So again, TSM have vision on this as well. It's on the north side of Milta. So you can see in the background, the shots will come in from the north side. That'll be Rory and the boys laying down the fire. Kane tries to pull up. He's had an issue, spins it out. But Na'Vi going to be focused on getting the revive first. TSM keeping G2 busy. In the meantime, Winstrike are moving up from the east. They're coming in from the coastal side. FaZe can see them as well. So these guys heavily committing here.
The next circle could dictate for these teams in Milta which way they're going to be ending. At least certainly which side of the leaderboard they're going to be ending. If it does yonk to the north, it's pretty much kind of going to bury them in the ground and keep them trapped again with FaZe Clan, TSM, everyone else, even Reciprocity of a lesser extent. They've taken that long hillside, which basically just box in the farm. We've already seen NIP have been in many scrappy battles, and I think there's only 2 of them alive inside that farm area, so potentially some easy points from Reciprocity. Rapids at the backside as well. Just down the gun point of Team Liquid, so if you can make it past them, then they will keep a 4-man stack going into this next circle. But still, the northern edge is just littered with teams, and it's going to get hella messy.
Yeah, so to be fair, with that water still in, you can imagine it should shift up a little bit.
Yeah.
So it will be a shorter rotation, but that's the band I was talking about from Team Liquid, Raise Your Edge, Vitality, the Knights. It's going to be scary territory. Now, Team Liquid can still play off the back of that compound. They have good footing, Raise Your Edge, good spot. But Team Liquid like to get aggressive. They do like to kind of control the area they're in. But we've got to look at M19, CrowCrowd, DA, or what's left of DA, and the Knights. They're all going to have to work their way in here. Reciprocity are okay. NIP took a more southerly swing, worked their way around Unity, can take the south again. They might get met by FaZe or Winstrike. But still, that northern band is very, very scary.
I think the bigger point for this circle is that fact that TSM can dictate how the game plays out. Yes, there's going to be a lot of eyes on them. They are in a 2-2 split. They're taking 2 central compounds in this circle, so everyone's going to be looking their way, and they have to be careful. If they get a knock, teams will be knocking at the door. But because they've taken the 2 priority compounds in this, no one can get in the middle. Everybody's going to be forced to play edge. Everything around them, all right, there's a lot of trees, but still not a great deal of cover, because look at how many teams we've still got alive. They're going to force the fights on the edge of the circle. Nobody can get in the center. TSM can basically control this and dictate the pace of the game.
If they're proactive enough, I do still feel
that's
that
the problem,
there is...
because it's a 360 vision battle, I suppose.
It's hard. Yeah, and it looks like they're going to compress. You've got Wookie trying to join with Michael and the boys. That's fine. Give it up. That's cool by me. In my eyes, I do think the one issue I've ever seen with TSM, in my opinion, which is obviously limited... Look at that prone. This guy. Jeez. Jeeves has found D-Mash in the meantime. How? How does this never work for me? He's going to stay the whole time, isn't he? Now, the thing is, I would say there is, sometimes TSM do lack a little bit of that decision-making when, you see other teams get really proactive in endgame. I look at the classics of FaZe, your Liquid, your Na'Vi in that instance, but still, they're an incredibly good team, and this is a circle for them. That aside is Team Liquid fighting off against M19. Already a couple of kills on the board, and Team Liquid are fighting their way around. We said they like to be proactive. We know that about Liquid, and they're sweeping. They want to clear this area. They want to ensure no one's going to come in late. No one's going to pressure them down the line. They want to control it now.
Jimbo with the instant confirmation. The brothers in arms, Samty and Jempty, they are playing the edge. One of them's up close. That's going to be Ibi as well. Excuse me. Actually, side by side with Samty. Jempty's fallen back to the compound. Should Liquid need an emergency exit procedure? Raise Your Edge, they are now in the 2-2 split. They've actually set up shop in the compound where TSM was. Jimbo looking for a knock, a pick, anything to kind of guard their backside, or maybe even potential, give an opening point for Reciprocity to make a push on any of Raise Your Edge. Again, it could be a catalyst, it could be that domino effect. You not one member of a team, the other team that's watching them, it's time for them to strike. M19, they have been split by the wins. You've got CrowCrowd and Liquid who have just chomped at the bit and put them down to one individual player, elite player who's actually outside of the circle. As soon as he steps foot in there, same with the Beautiful Death, both of these players should be dropping like flies.
Yeah, I was going to say, in my eyes, or in my mind, Team Liquid will probably wait for that blue to close in, make sure that they work out the lay of the land on this northern side of things. A Beautiful Death needs to move unless he just dies to the blue. I don't know. Can we? Can we not? But yeah, you can see already the two teams really setting up for this. Vitality in the east, Team Liquid in the west. They know there's going to be a funnel of players through the north. In the meantime, Reciprocity have been landing shots. You've seen a couple down towards Na'Vi, just seen one towards NIP. So they're keeping themselves active on that roadblock just towards the northwest of Milta.
You don't know who's in front of you, so there's no real tactical decision for denying a team.
Oh, Samty, that's not nice. That's not a nice spot at all.
Point for these individuals. Set finally does put Samty down. And I expect these blue players just to heal up, stim up, and then get ready. Once the battles have finished and ended, then make a maneuver. But again, with the next circle pushing on and encroaching, you do have to move pretty quickly. Ibi on with the back foot. He does go down, but there is a refrag, or at least a return knock.
Good trade, yeah.
Good trade from Jimbo. Hits the back of the skull. Not quite. Sigsy onto Shib. There it looks like there's going to be a pull-up here. Reciprocity, raise your edge. Two players from Rec have gone down.
Yep.
Where's that from?
That was the nade from Jeems coming in. That was really well played. That's bought time on the revive and got Liquid back on their feet. They now need to think about the next circle coming in. They're in a really awkward spot. Reciprocity are being kind of bullied here. They did manage on one side of things, but there's still a bit of an issue. They haven't completely cleared this out. Reels trying to get past the Finns, and ENCE are desperate for something to work out, and Rustamar, it went into the side room. He is so lucky to have his life. Reels is on the push. He's been aggressive about this one. Trifling's off. Does he know that Rustamar is there? He does now. The spray is good, but it's not good enough. Rustamar gets down Reels. Trifling's just been found by Uber. This is all going to be wrong for the Finns. Uh-oh, that could be enough to do it. No, just about makes it away.
5 HP in a dream. The medkit were going off, thankfully, so he does stay alive for now. Snag still looking for him. Moving out of the blue again, will be damaged, will not be able to focus through that blue zone. It can be a bit of a problem when you are firing inwards. Rafi onto fast rail. Actually, is that no? Raise Your Edge do have players alive, and they went the 2-2 split.
Being crashed by Team Liquid right now.
This is the next problem. Again, it's 4 versus 2. This is the downside of going for a 2-2 split. The upside is that they're still alive. The downside is you have to take the full force of Team Liquid. They are down and dead.
Yeah, the nade just came raining in. They lost out on the Reciprocity fight, and now they lost out on the Team Liquid fight. Liquid move into the previous compound, where just about everyone sees it, but that north, that east side is not resolved. We've got every team trying to make their run in. The Knights are one of them. You've got Mikas slightly further ahead, and Squeaky waiting as well. Snark's got a hard run ahead of him.
He does have the barrel though, so can at least do some damage. Squeaky will hold the angle on the rock side, which will be a problem. Post a grenade. Does it go through the window? If that's gone through the window, that man is dead. No. Bounces off the backside, hits the vehicle, and goes up in smoke. There is a vehicle if they want to try and make a hard shift or something happen here. I think Liquid are going to go for a reposition, but they have to be careful that there are teams still lingering on that northern edge of the circle. If they come down on the western embankment, you have the remnants of Reciprocity. M19's gone, and looking for some. Number 13, unfortunately, boys.
Look at Milta as well in the meantime, Rich.
It's just...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams in Milta currently.
And you have to play this one proactively in the fact that you have to get deeper in the circle. G2 are taking 2 major compounds, 2 key compounds in Milta. Should the circle go up there, they're going to be the ones in the driving seat. They can dictate people and basically coming out of Milta, mow them down as they do so, and basically funnel them left or right. You have to take an embankment because you can't go forward in Milta. They will hold the line and be a problem. FaZe have taken whatever they humanly possibly can, and it goes south. Milta stays in for now. And this puts G2 in a prime location.
Yeah, that isolated house, the kind of out on its own house, is very, very strong. It's not completely in the city as such. It's a little further away. Kane keeping that position next to him has kind of kept Na'Vi at bay. It's kind of stabilized everything. We do see a bit of a fight.
It gives more protection, right,
it gives
to that
buffer.
building.
It gives the buffer, which is exactly what you need in these sort of situations. Nasus did find Gustav, so TSM are being tested now. We've got Squeaky engaging towards Vitality, but everyone's eyes are everywhere. Everyone's looking at those northern teams, trying to find those ways forward.
Jimbo just keeping an overwatch through the tower. Allows the rest of the they're going for the pull-up. Here's the preemptive grenade.
Oh, TSM, are you ready for this? Nade comes out, bounces the next. Michael, are you prepared for what's coming your way? Ibby's already damaged, but he still stands. The nades are coming out, the fire comes in from afar. That's Gemty and the boys laying it down. Ibby's got the heal off, it's time to go. Wookie hits the deck, you've got them all proning, they're all aware of what's happening. You have G2 and Vitality fighting.
Double
the
nade.
Nades come in, though. That's going to be through the tiny little window. That could be Michael in danger. He didn't get it. He didn't get it in the safe. He couldn't get it through the window. That could have been huge for him.
There is a weird and wonderful way. Nope, not anymore. I'm going to say maybe you pull the vehicle up the side, jump on the back, and then you can jump up above the door and make it up top. There are ways to traverse this building. going to be a problem, though. Wookie
nice
gets tapped up in a warning, but he comes to the repeat. Does not expect that. That's a good play to at least force them back, do some damage. But unfortunately,
yeah, but
Liquid,
look at these
on the
angles.
door.
Yeah, Ibby's dying to get into this one. They know what they've got to come up against. They spotted it out. The nade comes in. That's Michael down. This could be go time. This could be the kind of ignition to this. Rory has to heal, but he got blocked for a second. Now here comes the push. Liquid one in, and they've made it in. Rory is your last man standing. He catches Samty in the heels, but now he's in trouble. The DP on the breach. He goes down. It's Liquid. Pushing and getting the 10 kills. That was vicious from Liquid.
You do have to question at first what was he thinking? Okay, he got the point, that's fair and that's fine. But when the player was walking towards him, it was like he was wanting to get himself out of that, or maybe even go for the res. So there was a second of delay there and a bit of a questionable play. Which way do we go? What do we do? Which kind of cost him about 2 seconds of time. Again, you get a point, but maybe he could have set up on top of the stairs, awaited their arrival or their approach. Instead, they just absolutely bomb the building, move forward, eliminate TSM. And Liquid, they can continue forward. But look at that shot, a good 300-400 meters away. Na'Vi onto Gemty, the knock, and the flush is done.
Yeah, I think they were trying to spread out, look for their next options, but there just isn't any. As much as TSM were in a better spot than them, it's still not a great one. You have Reciprocity still holding a bit of vision there. You have Vitality in the same spot and FaZe in the same position, even though FaZe are under fire and they only have a little shack in the middle of nowhere. This circle will be fun. That's why it's fun. G2 hold all the cards. We basically have an open field.
Ooh, he's been pushed in the open. Kramer from nowhere with little health. ENCE spins around, does the damage, and answers back, so they can keep him off his backside for now. Ugh, 1 HP in a dream. At least he's still alive, but again, that window will only give you so much support because Nas is still looking around. That Jazzer and Kramer, 2 key players.
Na'Vi are breaching.
Go down.
This is nice. Okay, Na'Vi are on the move. They know what's ahead of them. FaZe have FaZe and G2 hold the compounds right now. G2 are about to be pushed. Vitality are under fire. Oh god, they've got barely any bullets here, and these trees aren't full enough to cover you the whole way. Yeah, you can see it. These angles aren't great. FaZe need to get rid of Vitality. That'll keep them safe from that side. G2 need to prepare.
Liquid might take him out.
They could. It depends on the angle. If they push around that far, you saw already when Liquid tried to spread towards the east, it didn't go well for them.
Overextends for a second to try and force him. The problem is that regardless which way he goes, there's 3 teams that do have an eye line on him. 2 members of FaZe and then the rest.
Oh, look at this smoke wall going up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 smokes already down here. Winstriker in the field. Na'Vi finds Scoom. That's Reciprocity trying to make the move in the north. Na'Vi have been keeping tabs on that while they've made their progress, but this will ring the alarm bells for G2. G2 now know they're there, and one of them's in the building with them. That's Senya already in the building. Molly's going in. Braxico's options are now limited. If he spots out a Finn in the field and takes down Nookie. Winstrike this time not having the best of life. Vitality have gone down, but Aduzi found Raffi. So again, that looks like Reciprocity are done for as well. We're losing a lot of teams here.
Braxico does answer back. Bestaloch does breach the building and unfortunately has paid for it. Senya nades up. Kaint trying to lowball this one and get as many as he can. And this is just a complete cluster. All Na'Vi downstairs and they need to make the approach up. They can bottleneck this one. That's Overzealous. Snips around the corner and gets paid for it. Why would you go downstairs and run into their open arms? Oh, he's jumped out the window. He's come from behind. Wall bang. Opens the door. I hope we were going to go through it then and try and flush it through. But instead, he's just mowing them down. That's 2. Saves his bullets for now. Sprays through, job done. That is a 9,000 IQ play to dive out of the window, come from behind, and basically bait the stairs with 1 player.
Now, while all this has happened, the issue is that FaZe are now spreading out. Look at Mexi's position. Look at them dominating the fields. Winstrike are gone, and Braxico is in the 1v4 you never want to fight against FaZe. Guns drawn, they're looking his way, they know where he is. There's no escape, there's no running, and FaZe have been lethal in that little shack. They've worked it out well. It was great from Braxico, but this would be somewhat of a miracle. 4 kills is good, any more is gonna be somewhat impossible.
He'll do whatever he can, but honestly, he's done more than enough as it is.
Yeah.
To eliminate players like that, every single kill's just a point in the bag. If you could get a knock and an instant flush on one of FaZe, then happy days. But
look at 80, look at 80.
Oh!
Braxico. Oh, Mexi.
Denied.
That little angle doesn't even get the points he wanted for it, but all that aside, FaZe do win it out. That was a great circle from them from the start. They held it well, they held their composure, and they carry on that Erangel win streak that is just terrifying in my eyes.
They had nothing to play with at all. That shack was so close to being the downfall of them. At one point, we saw 3 members of FaZe down.
Batesy.
It's
That's why I get paid the money.
I like it. I like it a lot, and FaZe like it a lot as well. Not only do they take the win, but they take it with style. A couple of kills in the bag.
Yeah.
And 4 players alive. Like, playing with nothing and just making it work is fantastic work from them. The circle, yes, it was kind to them. That has to be said. Everything from the very start. They didn't really go far. They come from Milter Power basically into the fields of Milter. It was a hop, skip, and a jump from their home territory. But still, playing with what you've got, using the smokes, getting the players back on the feet, and then moving in and let everyone else just kill themselves, essentially by taking fights and just watching and keeping an open eye on the fields. It's a job well done.
It is. It's excellent play. I mean,